Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I'll show you how to change your color, okay, for your various projects. This is a highly requested tutorial. I got so many requests on my Instagram and on my YouTube videos in the comment section on how I change the color, okay, on my projects. So here I just wanted to make a separate video on that. So here is the tutorial for you guys. There are basically two methods that I like to follow. Again, this is not a hard and fast rule on how you must change your color. These are just ways that I like to change color when I'm working on my projects, okay? So there are two methods that I follow. One is the incomplete stitch method, which I prefer using when I'm working projects where my rows are one on top of each other, okay? I use the incomplete stitch method, and the other method is the complete stitch or the knot method, which I prefer to use when I'm working rows which are circular, like, you know, like rows circular, like your granny squares, where I'm working in rounds, okay? So if you would like to learn how I change the color of my yarn for my projects, then please keep watching. So for the first method, I like to call the incomplete stitch method for changing my color. I prefer this method when I'm working stitches one on top of each other. So like when I'm working rows one on top of each other, like so, okay? So this is where I like to use this particular method. What I would normally do is, for instance, here I just have 2 rows of your basic double crochet stitches, okay? Now another thing to keep in mind is that it doesn't have to be double crochet stitches. I'm just showing this as an example. You can use this method when you're doing any other stitch as well, like your single crochet or your treble crochet, your shell stitch, V-stitch, it doesn't matter, okay? So the only thing to keep in mind is that for your last stitch in that row, so for instance, here I'm almost done with my row 2. What I would normally do is work 1 double crochet at the end as well, okay, and finish off this row. But because I want to change my color, let's say to this baby pink color for the next row, what I would do is, for the last particular stitch, okay, again, it doesn't matter if it's a double crochet, it can be any stitch. All you need to do is not complete that stitch. So for instance, since I'm working a double crochet, I'll just yarn over once, insert my hook into that last stitch space, grab my yarn, pull it through, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, right, and then I have the last 2 loops on my hook. What I would normally do is yarn over and pull through these 2 loops to complete that double crochet stitch. But since I want to change my color, what I would do here is I would just let this be, okay, and then I'm going to take my new color. So let's say I want to join this yarn to this project, so I would just place it behind like so, okay, yarn over the new color and pull it through the last 2 loops to complete that double crochet from the previous row, okay? So in doing that, we've done 2 things at once. We have finished the row, we have finished the stitch, and we've changed our color together, okay? Makes sense? So then I can just continue my next row with this new color yarn, right? So let's say if I'm following this pattern, I'll just be chaining 3, right, then I'll be turning my project like so, okay, and then I'll just be working my next row of stitches as well, okay? Now here what you can do with the loose end is you can sew it in, or you can work it along with your stitches so that it automatically gets sewed in, okay? And then the old color, you can work it in 2 ways. You can either cut it off, like leave a little bit of yarn, cut it off and sew it in as well, or you can carry it on for the next consecutive rows. So that's totally an option that, you know, it depends on you where or how you want to use your colors, okay? So this is one method wherein you just change the color by completing the previous row's last stitch, okay? Make sense? Okay, so this method I really like using it when I'm working one row on top of each other. So the second method where I like to change my color is usually for projects which we are working in rounds, okay? Like we are working a granny square or a granny circle or any project where we are working in rounds, okay? So what I like to do in that case is, here for instance I have my traditional granny square and I've done 3 rows of the stitches, and I want to change my color in the last row for instance, okay? So what I would do then is complete my row as normal. So here my row 3, I've chained 1 and I'll normally just slip stitch to the 3rd chain here, right, to complete that particular row. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that as normal. Okay, so I'm done with my row here, and for the next row I want to change my color. So in this case what I would do is, once I've completed my row, I'll just chain 1, okay, grab my scissors, leave a little bit of yarn to sew in the ends, and then just cut off my yarn, okay, and pull through, tighten the nose, okay, and then what I would do is grab my new color. So I want to attach this color to this granny square. So I'll just join it wherever I want. So for instance I want to join it right there, okay, into this gap space here. So what I would do is just place my yarn, the new color, beneath my square like this, okay, and then insert my hook into that particular gap space that I want to join this color, like so. Just grab it, pull it all the way through, tie a simple knot like so, okay, put my loose ends all in one direction like this, so that when I work my stitches, these loose ends sort of get into the stitches and I don't have to worry about sewing it in the end, okay? That's one tip as well. Or you can leave it at the end of the project and just sew it in after you finish your stitches as well. It's totally your preference, okay? But I like just leaving my loose end always to the left, so that when I work my stitches around, these loose ends sort of disappear by itself, okay? So once you've tied your knot, all I'm going to do is insert my hook back into that gap space like so, grab that new color, pull it through like so, and then just chain 3 like normal and begin my row 4 for my granny square, okay? So all I did was tie a knot, attach the yarn and continue with the next row. So this particular method of changing color is the knot method, or the complete stitch method as I like to call it. So wherein I complete the stitches from the last row with the previous color, I complete it, chain 1, cut it off, and then attach my new color. So this is another method that you can use when you're working your stitches in your various projects. So this is the end of this tutorial. I hope you could follow both the methods, and I hope it helped you to understand how you could change your colors for your projects, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked the tutorial. Leave in your comments and suggestions or doubts that you might have in the comment section below, and I love hearing from you guys. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. All you need to do is click on the red button below, and if you want to be notified whenever I post a tutorial, all you need to do is click on the bell icon as well. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day ahead, and I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye!